My beloved child, stop for a moment. This message did not arrive by accident. Do not rush past these words because something extraordinary is already unfolding beyond what your eyes can see. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. There was a season when they convinced themselves they had finally moved on from you. They filled their days with distractions, surrounded themselves with noise, and tried to silence every memory that carried your name. They believed time had erased what once felt impossible to forget. But what they never realized was that some connections cannot be erased simply because someone decides to ignore them. Some names are written deeper than memory. Some people are remembered by the heart long after the mind says the story is over. Today, you are hearing this because the next chapter has already begun, even if nobody has spoken about it yet. There was one ordinary moment that nobody expected to matter. It was not planned. It was not dramatic. It happened so quietly that almost everyone overlooked it. Then one single name was spoken. Just one name. Yours. Everything inside them froze for a heartbeat. The conversation around them continued, but they no longer heard a single word. Every wall they had spent so much time building suddenly felt fragile. Every excuse they had repeated to themselves lost its strength in one unexpected moment. They tried to act as though nothing had happened, but inside, questions were rising faster than they could answer them. Why did hearing that name feel so familiar? Why did it still carry peace, wonder, and unfinished emotion? Why did it suddenly feel like the past had stepped into the present without asking permission? Don't skip. Stay with me because what happened next changed everything. You have wondered whether people truly forget those who once touched their lives. Sometimes you asked yourself if your presence had simply become another distant memory. You questioned whether your kindness had faded, whether your words had disappeared into silence, whether your place in someone's heart had quietly been replaced. But there are moments that reveal what years cannot hide. A single reminder has the power to awaken feelings that never truly disappeared. Time may cover memories like leaves covering a quiet path, yet one unexpected breeze can uncover every step that was always there. What happened after your name was spoken proved exactly that. The memories did not return one by one. They rushed back all at once, carrying every smile, every conversation, every unanswered question, and every possibility that had been left unfinished. The remarkable part is that nobody around them understood what had just happened. They only saw someone becoming unusually quiet. They noticed a distant look in their eyes. They saw someone staring into space while pretending everything was normal. But inside, an entire world was changing. They remembered conversations they thought they had forgotten forever. They remembered the peace they once felt without understanding why it mattered. They remembered moments that seemed ordinary at the time but suddenly became priceless. They even remembered promises they never spoke aloud. Sometimes the greatest turning points arrive without applause. Sometimes everything changes inside a person long before the outside world notices. Stay till the end because this is only the beginning of what unfolded after your name entered the room again. Many people spend their lives believing that forgetting is the same as healing. Yet the heart follows different rules. It does not measure value by distance or by the passing of seasons. It remembers what carried truth. It remembers what brought light during dark moments. It remembers the people who left an imprint too deep for time to erase. That is why your name carried unexpected weight. It was not simply a word. It became a key that unlocked emotions they thought had disappeared forever. Every attempt to convince themselves that the story had ended suddenly felt incomplete. Every certainty became uncertainty. Every closed door began to open again, not because someone forced it, but because truth quietly found its way back. Listen carefully because this next part matters more than you realize. There are moments in life when everything appears silent while unseen pieces are moving into place. This was one of those moments. They walked away pretending the conversation meant nothing, yet your name continued echoing through every thought they had. They tried to focus on work. They tried to distract themselves with other conversations. They tried to convince themselves it was only coincidence. But the more they resisted, the stronger the memory became. Some moments refused to disappear because they arrived carrying purpose. This was not simply remembrance. This became awakening. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you, and every sentence is leading toward it. Perhaps you have been wondering why certain doors remained closed. Perhaps you believed silence meant the story had ended forever. But what if silence was never the ending? What if it was only the space between one chapter and another? What if everything that appeared still was actually preparing for movement? Imagine someone realizing that everything they believed about forgetting was completely untrue. Imagine someone discovering that your name still carries peace they cannot explain. Imagine them recognizing that every attempt to replace what they once felt only revealed how unique your place had always been. That realization cannot be rushed. It unfolds quietly, but once it begins, it becomes impossible to ignore. There is another reason you were meant to hear this today. Sometimes people search everywhere for answers while the answer has been hidden inside one memory all along. They believed they needed something new to feel complete, yet hearing your name reminded them of something they had lost without realizing it. It reminded them of sincerity. It reminded them of hope. It reminded them of conversations that felt genuine instead of forced. It reminded them that peace cannot be replaced by distraction. The more they reflected, the more impossible it became to deny what had awakened inside them. Every attempt to move forward without understanding the truth only brought them back to the same realization. If these messages resonate with you, subscribe. Super thanks helps $8 support more messages like this. But do not leave yet because the greatest part of this story has not been revealed. Stay till the end. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you. What happened after your name returned was only the first ripple. The next moment revealed something nobody expected, including the person who believed they had forgotten you. And when that unexpected sign appeared, it changed not only what they remembered, it changed what they believed was possible. Something unexpected happened after that moment, and this is where the story becomes impossible to ignore. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The silence that followed your name was not empty. It was filled with thoughts they could no longer control. They replayed that single moment again and again, wondering why one simple name carried so much weight. They had spent so much time convincing themselves that everything belonged in the past, yet now the past no longer felt distant. It felt alive. Every memory they believed had faded returned with remarkable clarity, and each one whispered the same question they could no longer avoid. What if they had never truly forgotten you at all? That question refused to leave them, no matter how hard they tried to focus on anything else. As the hours passed, something even more surprising began to unfold. They started noticing little reminders that had always been around them but had somehow gone unnoticed. A familiar phrase. A place they once visited. A song that suddenly sounded different. None of these moments were dramatic on their own, yet together they formed a picture that became impossible to ignore. It felt as though life itself was quietly reminding them of someone whose importance had never disappeared. They stopped asking why your name had returned and started asking why it had returned now. The timing felt too meaningful to dismiss. Stay till the end because what happened next completely changed the direction of their thoughts. For the first time in a very long while, they stopped running from their own heart. Instead of pushing the memories away, they allowed themselves to sit with them. They remembered your patience when nobody else understood them. They remembered the comfort of conversations that required no pretending. They remembered how hope seemed easier whenever you were part of the picture. The realization was gentle but powerful. They had searched everywhere for peace without realizing they had once experienced it in a way they had never fully appreciated. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you because this realization became the beginning of a transformation they never expected. Then came a conversation that nobody planned. Someone mentioned your name again, this time with complete sincerity. There was no intention to create emotion, yet every word landed deeper than the last. Instead of changing the subject, they listened. Instead of pretending they felt nothing, they became curious. Every sentence revealed another forgotten detail, another beautiful memory, another reason they had once believed your connection was unlike any other. By the time the conversation ended, they realized they had been trying to forget something that their heart had quietly been protecting all along. You may not have seen any of this happening, and perhaps that is why this message feels so unexpected. While you were living your own days, wondering whether anything had changed, an invisible shift was taking place somewhere else. Hearts often change direction long before words are spoken aloud. Decisions begin in silence before they become visible to the world. This is one of those moments. Every unanswered question is slowly leading toward an answer that neither of you expected to discover. Stay till the end because the next revelation carries even greater meaning. They began looking at old memories differently. Instead of seeing endings, they started seeing lessons. Instead of focusing on distance, they started noticing the connection that had quietly survived every season apart. They realized that forgetting had never brought them peace. It had only distracted them for a little while. The truth had remained patiently waiting beneath every distraction, ready to return the moment they were willing to listen. That truth was simple, yet impossible to ignore. Your name still mattered. Your presence still mattered. The story they believed had ended was still speaking through moments they could not explain. If these messages resonate with you, subscribe. Super thanks helps $8 support more messages like this. And before you continue with your day, hold on just a little longer. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The next moment was unlike anything they had experienced before, because someone unexpectedly placed one final question before them, and the answer they gave revealed a truth that would change everything forever. Pause for just a little longer, because what happened after that question was something they never imagined possible. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The answer did not come immediately. They remained silent, staring into the distance as though searching through years of forgotten moments. Then, almost without realizing it, they smiled. It was not a smile of certainty. It was the smile of someone discovering a truth that had been hidden in plain sight. In that instant, they understood something remarkable. They had never forgotten you. They had only stopped listening to the part of themselves that refused to let your memory disappear. From that day forward, everything around them began to feel different. The places they walked carried unexpected reminders. Familiar streets suddenly felt meaningful. Ordinary mornings became filled with reflection instead of routine. They found themselves wondering how life might have unfolded if they had trusted what their heart had been trying to tell them all along. Every answer seemed to lead back to one place. Every road seemed to carry one name. Yours. What they once believed was coincidence now felt like purpose quietly revealing itself one step at a time. Stay till the end because the next discovery became even more unforgettable. There was one evening when they sat completely alone, thinking about everything that had changed. No distractions. No conversations. Just silence. In that silence they asked themselves a question they had avoided for far too long. Why did hearing your name awaken so much hope instead of regret? The answer arrived gently but powerfully. It was because genuine connections do not disappear simply because time passes. They remain patient. They wait beneath every distraction until the right moment arrives to remind the heart of what truly matters. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you because this realization became impossible for them to ignore. Then another unexpected event unfolded. Someone who knew nothing about their private thoughts casually mentioned your name once again. This time it felt different. It was as though life was confirming the same message from a completely different direction. They stopped believing it was random. They stopped calling it coincidence. They started wondering whether they had been given another opportunity to see what they had once overlooked. Every doubt slowly gave way to curiosity. Every fear slowly gave way to hope. Every memory became brighter than before, as though it had been waiting for this exact moment to return. You may believe nothing is happening because you cannot see these quiet moments taking place. Yet the deepest transformations rarely announce themselves. They begin in silence. They grow in reflection. They become undeniable long before anyone speaks them aloud. While you have been wondering whether your story was forgotten, another heart has been slowly remembering every reason your presence once mattered so deeply. This is why you were meant to hear these words today. Not to chase certainty, but to recognize that some journeys continue even when nobody can see them. Stay till the end because the next chapter reveals why everything has been leading toward this very point. Imagine discovering that the name they tried so hard to leave behind became the very name that restored their hope. Imagine realizing that the memory they thought belonged to yesterday suddenly became the inspiration for tomorrow. That is exactly what began to happen. They stopped looking backward with sadness and started looking forward with expectation. Instead of asking what had been lost, they started asking what might still be possible. The change was quiet, but it was real. And once it began, nothing inside them felt the same again. If these messages resonate with you, subscribe. Super thanks helps $8 support more messages like this. But do not leave now. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The next moment revealed one final piece of the puzzle when an unexpected sign appeared exactly where they least expected it, and what they understood in that instant changed the entire meaning of your story forever. Everything seemed ordinary until one quiet moment interrupted everything they thought they knew. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. They were not searching for answers anymore. They had decided to simply continue with life. Yet sometimes the greatest revelations arrive when people stop chasing them. Without warning, they came across something that carried your name once again. It was simple. It was unexpected. But the instant they saw it, every question they had been carrying suddenly connected like pieces of a puzzle that had waited for years to be completed. What they once believed was over now felt as though it had only been paused. For several moments they could not move. They kept asking themselves why your name continued appearing at exactly the right time. Why now? Why after so much silence? Why after believing everything had finally faded away? The more they thought about it, the clearer the answer became. Some stories refuse to end because they were never meant to end where people believed they did. Some names continue returning because they carry unfinished purpose. Yours had become that name. Every appearance reminded them that certain connections are stronger than distance, stronger than silence, and stronger than doubt itself. Don't skip because the next realization changed everything they believed about their own journey. Then they remembered one small detail they had completely forgotten. It was something you once said that seemed ordinary at the time. Back then they barely noticed it. Now those same words carried an entirely different meaning. They realized you had always been someone who brought calm instead of confusion, hope instead of uncertainty, and sincerity instead of pretending. Suddenly they understood why every attempt to replace that feeling had quietly failed. They had not been searching for another person. They had been searching for the peace they once experienced whenever your path crossed theirs. At that very moment, something remarkable happened inside them. Regret disappeared, not because the past changed, but because hope became stronger than fear. Instead of asking whether it was too late, they began asking whether new beginnings were still possible. That single change of perspective transformed everything. Their heart no longer focused on what had been lost. It focused on what still remained. Stay till the end because something huge is waiting for you, and the next part of this story reveals why this change was only the beginning. There are moments that quietly reshape a person's future without anyone else noticing. This became one of those moments. They no longer ignored your name when it appeared. They welcomed it. They no longer pushed away the memories. They allowed themselves to appreciate them. Every reminder became another reason to believe that meaningful connections leave permanent marks on the heart. They finally understood that forgetting had never been their victory. Remembering had become their awakening. That realization gave them a kind of peace they had not felt in a very long time. Perhaps you have spent your own days wondering whether anyone still thinks about you. Perhaps you believed your chapter had already been closed in someone else's story. But sometimes the pages people think are finished are the very pages life chooses to reopen. Quietly. Unexpectedly. Beautifully. While you could not see it, another heart was learning that your absence had never erased your importance. Instead, it revealed it even more clearly. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you because the greatest revelation has not happened yet. If these messages resonate with you, subscribe. Super thanks helps $8 support more messages like this. Every message reaches farther because of your support. The most astonishing part of this journey is still ahead. In the next chapter, a single unexpected decision will reveal why hearing your name was never just a coincidence, and why everything that followed was preparing both hearts for a moment neither of you ever imagined could become real. There is one final piece you have not heard yet, and once you understand it, the entire story begins to make sense. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Long after everyone believed life had returned to normal, something unexpected continued happening inside them. Your name was no longer just a memory. It became a question they could not stop asking themselves. Why did every meaningful moment seem to lead back to the same person? Why did every quiet reflection end with the same realization? They searched for another explanation, but every path returned to the same truth. They had never truly forgotten you. They had only forgotten how deeply you had shaped their heart. One day, without planning it, they found themselves speaking about you again. Not because someone forced the conversation. Not because they wanted attention. It simply happened. Your name came naturally into the discussion, and the moment it was spoken, they noticed something remarkable. Instead of feeling distant, it felt familiar. Instead of feeling like the past, it felt connected to the present. Even they were surprised by how peacefully your name settled into the conversation. That was the moment they stopped denying what their heart had already accepted. Don't skip because what happened immediately afterward became impossible to ignore. The people around them noticed the change before they did. They saw a different expression. They heard a different tone of voice. They noticed that whenever your name appeared, there was a quiet smile instead of silence. Nobody understood why. Nobody knew what had changed. But deep inside, they knew exactly what had happened. The walls they had spent so much time building had quietly disappeared. The memories they once tried to avoid had become the very memories that brought hope. Every reminder no longer felt like looking backward. It felt like preparing for something still waiting ahead. This is why today's message matters. Many people believe forgetting is proof that a story is finished. Yet sometimes remembering is proof that the story is still alive. Some names disappear from conversations but never disappear from hearts. Some people leave a mark so genuine that time cannot erase it. Your name became that kind of name. Every unexpected reminder revealed the same lesson. What is meaningful never truly fades. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you because the greatest realization arrived only after they finally stopped resisting it. Then came the moment they could no longer explain away. They looked back over everything that had happened in recent days. Every unexpected conversation. Every familiar place. Every quiet reminder. Every appearance of your name. Standing alone, each event seemed ordinary. Together, they formed a pattern too clear to ignore. They understood that these were not isolated moments. They were gentle invitations to pay attention. The story they believed had ended had quietly been writing a new chapter all along. Perhaps you needed to hear this because you have questioned your own significance. Perhaps you have wondered whether your kindness, your presence, or your memory still mattered to anyone. Let this remind you that genuine connections often continue growing in silence. Not every transformation happens where everyone can see it. Some of the most meaningful changes happen within the heart, one quiet realization at a time. While nothing seemed to be happening, everything was slowly changing beneath the surface. If these messages resonate with you, subscribe. Super thanks helps $8 support more messages like this. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The next chapter reveals the unexpected choice they finally made after accepting that your name had never truly left their heart, and that single decision became the turning point they never believed would arrive.